Today, I want to talk about prayer. It's a standalone message on prayer. I'm going to pull out a verse, honestly, that kind of makes me feel a little uncomfortable at times. It might not you. In fact, we'll take a vote. I'm curious if you're going to be with me that it makes you feel as uncomfortable as it does me. It's weird that I feel uncomfortable about it too, because there's nothing negative about it. It's really, really a positive, exciting verse. Let's throw it up here. This is Mark chapter 11, verse 24, right? And it says, "Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you've received it, and it will be yours." Is there anyone else that's a little uncomfortable looking at that verse? Or am I by myself? You're a little uncomfortable? Yeah, okay, got some hands, some people admitting it. Is there anyone in here that's going, "What's the problem, Darren?" You're like, just like, "What's the problem?" It makes sense to me. Believe it happens, right? I'm going, really? Well, don't we have to add a lot of context here? It's like I want to go, well, Jesus asked for, to not die on the cross, and he did. I mean, did he not have faith? Don't we have to balance this with other teaching? Paul said there's a thorn in his flesh, and he prayed 3 times, and God said, "No, this thorn is good for you. My grace is enough for you." Are you as uncomfortable as me? I just want to add some balance to it. But today I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let this verse run free for a minute. I just want to look at this one verse in the context. Jesus is talking just about great faith. And he's inspiring people to believe more. And in this challenge to have great faith, he throws out this verse on prayer. "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." I'm just going to let it go unfettered for tonight. And let's just see what we can learn from this one inspiring verse. And I think there's 4 lessons for us. Very practical. Let's get as practical as we can. If I were just to go deep into this verse, this is what I would conclude. Number 1, God wants your prayer to have an object. He wants you to pray about something. He doesn't want you to pray about anything. He wants you to pray about something. Just a basic conclusion I have as I ponder this verse. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for, well, it could be whatever, but there's a whatever for you. Whatever is in your life, whatever is going on in your soul, in your situation, I want you to pray for something. Have you ever had someone call you on the phone and they didn't seem to want anything? It's really awkward. I've gotten those phone calls before. It's like, "Oh, it's Greg. Hey, Greg. Yeah, how you doing? What can I do for you?" It's like, "Oh, nothing." "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, not much today. Just kind of hanging at the house." "Okay. So, have you had someone do this to you? Where you're trying to go, you want to say, "Why are you calling me?" What do you want? And you can't say that because you're trying to be polite, and you're like, "So is everything okay?" You're trying to get really close. You're dancing around it, and it doesn't seem like he wants anything. And you finally say these words. This is how you know this person has called before. If you've ever said these words on the phone, "Okay, well, I'm going to go now." And it's like the biggest hint ever. I'm done with this conversation. It doesn't seem like you called me for a reason. God wants you to talk to him with some reason, some objective. He wants to know, what's your trial? What's your heartache? What's the pain? What's the obstacle? What are you talking? Why are you on your knees? Why are you in your prayer closet? Why are you, hey, God, hey, what's up? Not much. Yeah, okay. What can I do for you? Oh, I don't know. It's like, and God's going to, okay, I'm going to let you go now. I mean, do you think God wants to have a conversation with you about something that's actually going on in your life that you're going to take to him? I read this verse, and for me, that's what it's saying. It's saying that I need to have something to talk to God about. And it's probably going to be something real. There are two types of shoppers. This is generally true. It's not always true. Generally, there's male shopping and female shopping, okay? Generally, and we'll have exceptions, I bet, even in this room, but generally, men shop like this. We buy stuff. We know what we need, and we pull up to the store, and I'm going, I need a black extension cord. We go into the store, and we go to the electronics section, because that's where the black extension cord is. We pick it up. We walk, believe it or not, there are people that actually shop like this. We walk to the front and we buy it. And then we just leave. We walk out of the store. We wanted to buy something and we did. We bought it. Now there's a second type of shopping. Generally, it could be called female shopping, but there are exceptions to this. It's not really buying something, it's browsing. You just kind of wander through the store. It's like, and you begin like this. It's like, I'm going shopping. And you can ask the person, oh, what do you need? New shirts, new pants, new underwear? What is it? You need a black extension cord? And they go, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to go for fun. I'm going to go see what they have. You're going to go see what they have? This isn't going to be productive. This isn't productive at all. And they just kind of wander through the mall. Oh, look at this shirt. Oh, you like that shirt? No, I hate it. Can you imagine anyone wearing this? No, and I can't imagine anyone pointing it out to me either. Why are you pointing it out to me? Oh, look at these pants. I really like those pants. Oh, well, get them. No, I'm not paying that much for pants. Oh, I love this scarf. You like the scarf? I love this scarf. This would look so good on Stacy. Stacy? Wait, who are we shopping for? What are we doing here? How long is it going to take? And after a time, they walk out of the store with just random items. Not productive at all, but it was fun, right? Now, who in here shops like you buy stuff? Any buyers? Okay. And some, actually, oh, and there's a lady here shaking her hand too. And now how many browsers do we have? Any browsers? Oh, you're a browser too? Okay, got some browsers. You're a browser. I'm going to just wander through. And when it comes to shopping, hey, you can be productive or non-productive. That's your prerogative. It's your money. It's your life. Do what you want. But when it comes to prayer, God says, you know what? Don't just browse. Come to me with something. Come to me with something serious. Bring it to me. Bring me what's going on. Come and say, my marriage is falling apart. My kids are a mess. Come and bring it to me. I don't know if I can make these bills. I browse too much. I don't know if I can bring him the problem. And can say, God, here it is. God wants you to have an object to your prayer, a focus. Imagine an archer that didn't have a target to shoot at. Everything in life, we want to make a plan if we're going to be successful in it. And in prayer, having a plan, having something to talk to God about, it's going to make prayer powerful and meaningful. Number two, as I look at this verse, I also think of this. Not only should there be an object to prayer, but really there should be a desire a longing in my prayer. It's not just, hey, this is what's going on. That if the prayer is going to be powerful, there's something in my heart that really, really wants it. This is important to me. And it's not, hey, this is going on. It's, God, this is going on and I want it fixed. It's petition. Lord, hear me. Hear me. I don't want this in my life. I don't want this bad diagnosis. Take it away. And there's this desire, a craving that makes prayer powerful. Why do you think God, who knows everything, he knows what I'm going to ask for, he knows what I need before I even ask him, why do you think he cares? And he goes, you know what? I want Darren to come to me and to verbalize what he wants. It's because God wants to have a meaningful conversation with me. Isn't that great? God wants to have a meaningful conversation with you. Now, if you honestly look in your life and you go, I don't know, I really don't have anything to be praying about. There's a lot of times in people's lives where they do that, and I think it's usually one of two reasons. Number one, it's because you're in denial, because we all have something to pray about. All of us do. Life has so many obstacles every day, so many stresses that drive us crazy. And so you might be in denial if you go, I don't know if there's anything I really want out there. I don't know if there's anything in my life I would change. Really? Okay, maybe. Then number two, then I guess your object is gratitude. You just have to be really thankful because you're the luckiest person on the planet. And you truly have nothing to take to God. That's fine. Then take to him at least gratitude. But I bet if you're honest with yourself that there's something in your life to truly bring to God and to pray about and to share your desire with him. Johnny's a golfer, aren't you, Johnny? If Johnny went to the golf course with all of his golf clubs and he walked around the entire golf course, all 18 holes, pulled out his golf clubs and swung them a few times, put it back in the bag and kept on walking, but he never once hit the ball, I would conclude he's insane. That's insanity. If you're going to walk around a golf course with your clubs, hit the ball, right? And if you're going to pray, if you're going to get down on your knees and go to this God and you're going to share, hey, this is what's going on in my life. If you're going to do it, then share what you want. Be honest. Do you know there are prayers in the Bible, in the Old Testament, called imprecatory prayers? Has anyone ever heard of imprecatory prayers? They're shocking. Imprecatory prayers are prayers where it was usually David, but the author of the prayer is praying for bad things to happen to his enemies. Happens all the time in the Old Testament. And David's praying for his enemies to really get it to the chin. He's praying for all these things, and what he's doing is he's coming to his God going, Lord, this is what I want. I'm so angry with them. I think this is what you should do. And he's being transparent and honest. That's what your prayers should look like. Not praying for bad things to happen to everyone. I guess you could do that too. But have this willingness to be honest to God with your words. I've learned a lot about prayer from other people. There's one man, his name's Larry. Every time I ever heard him pray, I grew. He was this fountain of knowledge. And I'd hear this guy pray, I'm like, whoa, I just grew a little bit more just listening to him pray. But when I pray, I'm not Larry. I've got to use my words. I have to use my situation. And I have to take what I have and go, Lord, this is my life. This is what I'm praying about. And this is what I want you to do about it. Number 3, I look at this and I conclude very simply, God not only wants my prayer to have an object, he not only wants my prayer to have a desire, but he wants my prayer to have faith. He wants me to believe that God, this powerful, mighty God, can do something in my life about my problem. That's why I'm talking to him. It's called trusting God, where I come to him and say, Lord, it's not fair. Why, my truck's all broken down, Lord. I don't want to have my truck broken down. I want my truck to be repaired. And I don't have the money for it, so I'm turning to you. And now I'm going to trust that you're going to help me figure this out. It's this trust factor where I actually take my burden off of myself and I put it on him. I say, help me with this. Figure this out. I believe you can, and I believe you will help me. Isn't that what this verse is saying? To have true faith that God can do this. Oh, I think I shared this story once before. I'm going to share it again. I was driving around Joplin years ago. I borrowed my friend's Ford Taurus. Actually, he borrowed my truck. He gave me the keys to his Ford Taurus. He was a family man at the time. He had a lot of kids. I didn't know that was going to be my future too. I didn't even have a wife at this point. All I had was my friend's keys. He took my truck. I knew I wasn't even going to go anywhere, and then I started to get hungry for lunch. So I went and got in the Ford Taurus. Thought I'd drive to the mall, get myself something to eat. I drove, and as I'm approaching the mall, there's a red light. I went right through it. I went right into the intersection where someone else was coming, and I tried to turn right in front of them, and I hit them head on. Crash. It was an older car that was still made of metal. Barely scratched that car. Ford Taurus, it looked like you had taken a base. It looked terrible. It was just, I didn't know cars bled. This car was bleeding, just gushing out. It was horrible. Smoke going everywhere. I get out, I run over to the car. It was an elderly woman who was driving her mother back to the nursing home. Oh! I said, are you okay? And she looked at me and she said, my back hurts. Oh, I have just completely messed up everything. I don't know what to do. The police show up. I start confessing. I ran a red light. I've injured this person. What am I going to do? I am beside myself. Ambulance comes, takes these women away to the hospital. I don't know. I help push the cars aside. I am stressed. And I look down, and there was a payphone. And there used to not be these computers in our pocket called cell phones for any kids. We used to not have these. So I saw a payphone. I thought, I'm going to go call my dad. So I ran down, called my dad collect. Call my father. He answered the phone. He said, Darren? I said, Dad, I borrowed my friend's car, and I just totaled his car, and there's women, the ambulance, and the car's bleeding. I just shared everything with him. I could hear him on the phone saying, Darren, 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 and I finally stopped and listened to his voice. He said, Darren, I'll take care of it. Okay, thanks. Oh, him saying those words, I'll take care of it. I knew he would. As soon as and he did. He showed up. He called my friend. He's the one that told him, hey, we're going to take care of this. We'll figure it out. We have insurance. We'll see what the damage is. He took care of everything. And that's the kind of faith that we want to have, where we just believe I'm coming to God who's our Father, who loves us, and going, God, here I am with this, but I'm bringing it to you. And he's like, good. I want you to bring it to me. Trust me. I'll take care of it. And there's part of prayer that we just lift our burden off and we put it on him. In the book of Daniel, there's a very, very strange story. A story that most pastors avoid because it's kind of weird. I always read it and I go, I wish there was more here about that. It's so unusual. It's the story of when Daniel had this vision from God and he prayed, Lord, tell me what this vision means. And then he just waits. Days go by. A few more days go by. And finally, Gabriel, an angel, shows up. Here I am. Gabriel came over and said, I have been trying to get to you for a while. In fact, you said, Lord, give me the answer to this prayer. And just then, God went, okay. And he pointed at me and said, Gabriel, go. And I took off. But there was a problem I wasn't expecting. On the way here, I came across a demon named the Prince of Persia. Is there anyone in here who's never heard this story before? Is this new? Yeah, this is wild, isn't it? And so Gabriel comes and he encounters this demon called the Prince of Persia. And he says the Prince of Persia started to wrestle him and held him in place for days. Finally, God said, we've got to get him through. So God pointed to Michael the archangel and said, your turn. And Michael the archangel came and he ripped the Prince of Persia's hands off me and I broke through the lines and now I am here to deliver this message. And I read that story going, what? What? I want to hear more. Is this going on all the time? Was this just Daniel's situation? What is this about? I don't know, but I do know there is more going on in the spiritual realm than we probably realize. There is. And we read this story about Daniel praying and the spiritual warfare going on. And I'm going, boy, if we knew what was going on, wouldn't we add even more passion and more faith in our prayers? What would our prayers sound like if we could see beyond what we see? We get on our knees and we have an object, we have a desire, and we have faith. And we say, Lord, do something here. And I'm going to turn it over to you to do. Finally, there's one more thing I get out of this verse. It's this very last part, and it will be yours. And I believe that God not only wants our prayer to have an object and a desire and faith, but he wants our prayer, he wants your prayer to have expectation. He wants you to start counting your blessing already. But I haven't gotten it yet. I know. He kind of wants it, and it will be yours. Kind of, okay, get up and start hoping now. Get up and start looking. You've prayed it. Now you don't go, okay, I said the prayer. Now I'm going to go on and keep worrying and stressing. No, I want you to hand it to me. And then I kind of want you to get up and walk around with some confidence as you look around going, how is he going to answer this prayer? What's he going to do? I prayed it. I prayed this to a God who heard me. Lord, I'm watching. I'm waiting to see what are you going to do in my life. Prayer is this confusing element in a lot of ways. Because God, if he truly is all-knowing, doesn't really need us to tell him anything. Logically, it doesn't seem to make any sense, but on a relationship level, it makes a lot of sense. If God is truly wanting to connect with you and have a meaningful conversation, and he's also wanting you to be his child and to live with him as your shepherd, as your leader and guide. Yeah, trust me. Give it to me. Now, go throughout your life and start looking. Look around and see what I do. See if I don't blow your mind. See if you can't start walking with some confidence right away, because I already trust that you are in my life. I want to ask you not only to look now at the text, but I just want to take a moment. Just look at your heart. Look at your prayer life. What do your prayers look like? Do you, when you pray, have an objective? Do you bring something important to God? Do you have a desire, and are you transparent with him and say, hey, this is what I'm going through? Do you have faith in your prayer? When you hand it over to him, do you stand up and do you leave with some hopefulness, some eagerness to see what he's going to do in your life? I want you to look into your prayer life. And if you see that there might be a part that you could make better, that you could improve, I'd like to challenge you this week to improve that. If your prayers are a little cold and mundane and heartless, if you pray in the King James Version or something strange like that, make it a little bit more lively. Put your heart into it. If you're not really sure that you really express your faith that God can make a difference, well, this week, why don't you increase that faith? Lord, I believe you're going to do something big now. I'm going to trust in you and see what happens. If you pray, but you keep carrying it with you, that's why I always do. It's like, here, God, okay, thank you. And you put it right back, you walk out the door with it again. Well, this week, why don't you go, I'm just going to hand it over, and then I'm going to hope. I'm going to expect you to do something great now. Work in my life, Lord. Teach me, and I'll follow.